Yeah. The Laura White 9 at iCloud.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, sorry.
Oh no, it's that kind of day.
Yeah, it's just been, I don't know. I mean, I had to go to my fiance's endowment, I guess, and it was just.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nah, she's right next to me, and so I'm just trying to give her a hard time.
I have a husband who does that to me all the time. Uh-oh.
This project have you gotten done?
I did the whole thing.
You did the whole thing, great. So here's the problem that I'm running into. You ready?
Sure.
So so I've done the actual assignment, but the problem I have is that my Excel just like freezes up when I try to do anything that has to do with the button. Does that make sense? So like when I try to, all of a sudden my Excel is just like, okay, I'm going to decide not to respond anymore.
Oh, that's a problem. Well,
yeah.
Although it doesn't matter for the mini project because they don't have you do it with a button. They're having you do it with a Control M or whatever it is. They give you it in number 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And maybe what I'll just do is I'll submit my assignment and just be like, hey, this is what's happening. So I've gotten this far. I've actually watched the whole video, but this is as far as I can get using what I'm using right now. Sure. And see what happens.
For the mini project, make sure you watch the video before you start the mini project.
Okay.
It has, because the order in which everything's written is like a little bit backwards, and it gives a really important instruction last that is like first in the video or second or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And so, it's not in the instructions to actually do it? Is that what you're saying? It's not in the, so like when you look at the instructions, like 1 through however many, it's not in there. You have to actually.
It's like number 8 or number 9, and it should be number 1.
Huh.
So in the video it says hint, and in the written instructions it's like number 8 or number 9 or something, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I watched the video first this time.
Yeah. Smart. Thank you for that.
Yeah. It's not, this is not a hard one. It did not take me forever.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what's going on.
Sure.
Hold on. Okay. Go here, share screen. So like now, so I have this pulled up, right?
Yes.
So like it doesn't show anything anymore. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
So like it doesn't have anything up here, and like I can't even. So let's see here.
Well, that's weird. What?
Yeah. What was that? Sorry.
What version do you have?
The newest one.
Oh, the 365?
Well, it's the one that I'm supposed to have for this class.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Huh.
And it's just wigging out on me. And when I try to save it, it'll be like, you cannot save with the macro or something like that.
You do have to change how you save it. Well, yeah, and it might be telling you it can't do the macro because it's, cranky. But you do have to make sure, like, one of the hints was make sure when you name it for the mini project, in the video, one of the hints was make sure you save it as a macro enabled whatever before you get started.
Right.
And
okay.
That might help with this. Like, I'm sorry, you'd probably have to, maybe try just re-downloading the file.
See, this is what this is. I re-downloaded it, and it does. Like, I deleted the whole thing because I knew where I know how to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
But I deleted the whole thing because I was like, maybe it's just the workbook, and I deleted the whole thing. And this is the I just downloaded this, and it's still doing this.
It's just odd.
But then I'll like, so like conditional logic 3, I'll go to this. Oh, it does this too. That's just freaking out on me.
That's weird. The only other thing I can think of is like just completely shut everything down and restart the computer and see if it unglitches itself.
Yeah, maybe I have to do that.
Because, you know, sometimes they just get cranky. I know that's not exactly a technical term, but, you know.
No, you're right. Maybe
that's just so frustrating. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to work there is no button in the mini project. You're just doing the thing that they tell you don't do. Where you first open it, yeah. Where you first open it, it says you can set up a special whatever. You know?
And is it pretty? So is the mini project pretty complicated? Like, do you have to do a bunch of different stuff, or is it really just related to macro?
It's all related to the macro. It took me because I followed the instructions of the video that said make sure you read the instructions first and then maybe write yourself some notes before you do the macro, because there was a lot of steps. And so I wrote everything down in order for myself and left myself notes so that I could do and then I left. Right. Yeah. The first time I did it, I left a step out and I'd stopped the macro. It's like, oh, darn it. So I had to do it a second time. I think that's why it took about an hour.
It took you about an hour just because of that? So it should be pretty quick.
It should be pretty, yes. Because in the macro, you're just organizing the info it's given you. It's not, you're organizing it and then you're like to the directions it's giving you. And then you're just making sure that you've done everything to like the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last 7 steps have to do with make sure you do this from the something of professionalism, and you know, number 3 and number 4 and number 6 and number 8, you know, blah blah blah.
Right.
So it wasn't hard. And if I hadn't have messed up the first time, I would have been done probably in half an hour.
Okay. Well, that's a relief to me. Just because
it took about 10 minutes of prep. As long as I'm glad that I followed the directions of write my own notes in order of things that should be done, you know, and then I went back and the second time before I clicked stop the macro or whatever that dumb button is. I went back and double checked through the mini project thing, and then it was done. And since there's no button, it was easier than and it's not like, I'm sorry, yours is being a pain, but it's not like the button was hard. It's just.
Right. Well, and the whole video that I watched on the just assignment was super easy. And I was just like, great, this isn't going to be bad. But then it just started wigging out on me. It
was very straightforward. I was like, hallelujah.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I just need to start planning ahead better. I should have just done this yesterday instead of making this stressful for me today with the endowment. But you know, kids these days, right? We like to procrastinate. So
I couldn't get it done yesterday. I had other class stuff that I had to finish, and I was like, I'm done. And I think part of the problem is with these mini projects, you don't know what you're getting until you start it.
Yeah. And you can't see anything until you do the assignment. Again,
until you start it. And I've figured out that you really don't want to do the assignment before you're ready to start the mini project anyway, because it needs to be fresh in your mind. And maybe I need time to do it, twice or whatever, to make sure that I really understand what's happening. But yeah, I'd done enough hours yesterday that I was like, I'm doing it tomorrow.
And so did you talk to Brandon? Or did they meet together?
I would say Kristen and you were the only ones that got back to me. Unfortunately, I didn't see the note from Christian until it was too late. it's my 10-year-old's birthday today. And so, once I got done, I was getting ready for his, we're moving at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So like we're finishing finals.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're finishing finals on like the 26th or the 27th, and I'm moving on the 31st. So I'm just a little full. So I really wasn't watching it. Yeah, I didn't even, I was like, oh crap. By the time I'd looked again, it was already 6 o'clock and I'd already missed it. I was like, well, I hope somebody else noticed. But
yeah. Well, and this semester for me really, I honestly should have just not done any classes because I didn't realize how much work it is to honestly prepare for marriage the next, like the 3 or 4 months before you actually get married.
Yes.
Like last week I helped move in my fiance to what's going to be our place when we get married.
Yeah.
And then the process for her getting endowed, getting everything ready, doing reception stuff, sending out everything, and it's just.
And you're actually participating in making decisions? Wow.
Well, she doesn't let me get away with not doing that, so.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. No, I pretty much looked at my husband and back when he was my boyfriend. I was like, okay, well, if you don't participate, then you don't get to complain.
That's fair. That's a good point.
So,
but
if you don't help and you didn't like the choice, you get to be quiet.
Yeah. And the hard thing is that like half of these mini projects are due on Saturdays, right? And Saturdays are when I'm free to do the marriage stuff, right? Because I'm working from 9 to however long in the mornings, and then afternoons we're doing stuff, and then on Saturdays is when we have time to really plan things out and do stuff, and it's just.
Yeah, I was doing okay at the beginning of the semester because my kiddos were all in school. Yeah. But once we hit summer break, I was like, not as.
Yeah.
That, and we just keep getting closer to the move, and so I have all of these other things that I'm supposed to be doing as well because I'm the mom. Yay!
Well, great.
Good luck.
Thanks.
If you have any questions or you get stuck, I'm gonna be up for probably the next 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
If you want, I don't mind showing you what my finished one looked like. Basically, at the beginning, he tells you to, and he shows you in the video how to copy the sheet a couple of times so that you have a chance to work it yourself, making the macro, and then make sure that the enabled, control whatever M works so that it does it. But then you still have to have 1 or 2 sheets for the grader to be able to test to make sure that your macro, right. So, like I said, that's put as one of the, near the bottom of the page in the written stuff. Whereas in the video, he tells you right at the beginning, I would suggest that you.
So pay attention to those.
Yeah. So the video was totally worth it. If you want, I'll show you what I did.
Great. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be just super detailed, but it'd be nice to just get a little bit of a idea of what's going on. Okay.
That's what it looks like when I'm done.
Right. And that's just information given to you. Like you don't have to.
Well, this is what it looks like when it gets given to you.
Right.
This is what mine looked like when I was done with the macro. Now I played with colors a little bit differently just because I was like, I like right. I like having separation, so it's harder for me to get lost going across. Being dyslexic, so
and so really you just organize this as you're recording, right?
Yes.
You're organizing it, and that way then you can create more sheets from that organization.
Basically with this macro, each month the new whatever it is gets uploaded. And so with macro, it's going to instantly organize everything for the supply management people.
Oh, I gotcha.
Is why they're saving, because somebody's been, now why in the world it would take somebody 2 hours to do this is a little beyond, the way they're explaining. I was like, it wouldn't take that long. But I do get that having this macro done would mean we'll call it an hour, just on the outside. You know, saving somebody an hour to make sure that it's organized so that it can be utilized appropriately. Because when it first shows up, you can't read everything. You can't.
Right.
It's not separated all nice.
Gotcha.
Blah blah blah.
And in the instructions, it shares like each step onto how you organize it.
Yes. Now, when I was writing it down for myself, I kind of moved things in a different order just because it made more sense to me. And I wrote again I wrote myself some notes to remember to do, you know, this, that, and the other to make sure that it was all done correctly.
Right.
And then I just checked as I went through doing it while the macro was recording. I just in a bright, because I wrote it out in black, and then I just took my little bright color pen. Done, check. Done, check. You know, so I was getting it all done before I hit stop, because that's what I'd left. I don't know, the second to last one off or something the first time around. So I had to do it. So I was like, well, that's a pain, because basically that meant I had to. I renamed it. I had to start all over, because once you've enabled that little Control M thingy, you can't use that one again in that, you know, workbook.
Right.
So once I mucked it up the first time, I had to start all over again. I was like,
just make sure you get everything done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But then again, like I said, I was done start to finish. And, you know, I'll call it 10 minutes of prep between watching the video and then making my own notes, about 10 minutes of prep. I could have been done in 30 minutes after that, maybe a little less.
Gotcha. Sweet. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything I can do for you? I don't know.
I'm thinking we should try and get everybody together like one time next week and just double check with each other. Is there something, you know, before we are, although really our final is just that final presentation, isn't it? Where we're doing our own spreadsheet.
I would imagine that's exam 5, right?
Yeah, I think that's. But yeah, so maybe we want to get everybody together one time before we're supposed to turn it all in and say, hey, is there something you're having a hard time doing, or you can't think of the next whatever, or just so we can toss ideas out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm thinking we're pretty good.
Great. Yeah, well, I'll text on Monday and see what everyone's schedules looks like and when we can meet. And maybe we can meet on Tuesday. I don't know.
Yeah, something like, yeah. And it doesn't have to be for long. It's just kind of a, hey, how's everybody doing? You know, does anybody need an idea? Whatever.
When is exam 5 due? Do you know?
I don't know that I've looked yet.
Let me just go to the calendar. It is due on the 27th. Yep.
Yeah, I just got all of the info I needed, so I can go ahead and get started this week.
Yep. It's due on the 27th, so we got about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll message on Monday then.
Do we have another, because this is the last mini project, do we have anything for next week? Or is next week finals? Am I a week behind? I thought we still had one more week.
No, well, yeah, we have 2 weeks. So the week after next week is when finals is due.
Yeah, it's finals. Yeah.
So
we don't have any mini projects next week.
No, we do. We have mini project 19.
Oh, okay. I was thinking this for some reason.
Mini project 20.
Okay, so there are 2 more. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. We need to be a little bit more on top of messaging before,
yes.
Like 5 seconds before we're actually end up wanting to do it. Which is my fault. A lot of it is my fault because I'm just like, oh, hey, I got this today, kind of a thing. But if we talk about it a couple of days in advance before, it might be better.
Okay. Well, why don't you message everybody on Monday, and then that gives a day or two to figure out,
Mm-hmm.
do we want to do it, try and be ready on Tuesday, or do we want to just do it on Wednesday? That gives everybody a chance to be like, this is what works for me.
Yeah.
And
Well, that works.
maybe we can figure out for both on, Monday. Say, let's do it Wednesday and Friday, or Wednesday and Saturday, or, whatever.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. All right. I will email you the link.
Okay, sweet. Hey, just before I forget, next week I have a family reunion from Thursday night through Saturday. So I should be able to hop on Friday, but it might be spotted or like hard for me to be there for a long time.
Well, then we'll try it, see if we can like work it all out on Monday through the text.
Yeah. So, and I just thought I'd inform you. So
yeah, sure. No, that sounds perfect.
Okay.
But if you throw it up there, then maybe we can all be ready by whatever on Friday.
Yeah, great.
So, perfect. All right.
All right. Thank you. Send me the link, please.
Sure, will do.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
See you later. Bye.